we're going to get started now. I would first like to say thank you. Thank you for all of you that have come out here to support EPOCA. EPOCA, once again, ex-prisoners and prisoners organizing for community advancement. And I'm just really excited. I'm very pleased to see so many faces. Thank you for coming to support EPOCA and the cause that we have going on here, which is a big piece. You know, this is all about social justice. So I appreciate your attention and your time. First, I would like to say a special thank you for Mr. Dan Jakaitis for being here on behalf of Representative O'Day and on behalf of the constituents of Rep. Padoni's district. So I thank you for coming tonight. I would also definitely like to say thank you to the Mount Senior for providing the space. And once again, thank you. I really want to start this off with a round of applause, please. Thank you. That's for you. That's for you for coming out here and being so supportive. I really want to thank you. We have an excellent panel here tonight talking with us and giving us this information that we really need. First, I would like to start off with Ms. Erin Bradley. She's the Associate Director of Children's League of Massachusetts, and she's been working on CHINS reform since 2005. And as a mother of two, she definitely knows what needs to be done. Next to her, we have Ms. Cassandra Ben Sahid, EPOCA's president. She's definitely been with the organization since 2009, and she's been doing such a great job, great work that she does. Next to her, we have Ms. Tatum Pritchard. She's an attorney for the Prisoners Legal Service, and she's also a former public attorney for the Essex County. So she definitely knows what she's talking about. Hey. Then next to her, we have Mr. Benjamin Thompson. He's the Executive Director of Criminal Justice Policy Coalition, and he served for 10 years in high-level posts in Boston's Flynn administration. And last but certainly not least is Ms. Jamie Ayers here. She's our treasurer for EPOCA, and she's definitely she's been coming a long way. And like I said, this list and this panel is here to give us this information that we really need. And last but not least, I would like to thank some of our sponsors, starting with Big Bunny Supermarkets of Southbridge, the Hope Half and National Association of Social Workers, Massachusetts chapter, the Children's Mental Health Campaign, the NAACP, the Worcester branch, Neighbor to Neighbor, statewide, of course, thank you for your support, Worcester Roots Projects, and the videos being provided by Black Legacy and the Willis Center. And that was about it, yeah. Also the Worcester Roots Project. They definitely sponsored and continue to do great work also with our children. So I would like to hand this over to our first speaker of the night, which is Erin Bradley.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I don't venture to Worcester very often. My grandmother used to live here, and she passed away a few years ago, so it's always nice to be back in the Worcester area. I have great memories of being here. So thank you for inviting me this evening. As Louis said, my name is Erin Bradley. I've been working on this since 2005 when I worked for Senator Karen Spilka, who is the Senate sponsor of this bill. When it came to us in 2005, it came to us by somebody who said that they just wanted to repeal all of CHINS. That was what was filed. Just get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. And so what we did was we gathered everybody together and we took a look around and said, well, we need something. We need a community-based intervention system. And so we spent 4 years basically working on the language around this. And I'm just going to hit some points on it. I'm assuming everybody here knows about the CHINS system. You either personally have gone through it or know somebody who has. And what it was intended to do when it was passed in 1976 was to help our kids, to get help, not put them in the court pipeline to the jails, which is what it's been doing pretty much since its inception. So the 5 main points that this CHINS reform is going to do is, A, it's going to create a community-based network so that if you have issues with your family, your mom, your dad, you yourself, you can go to the community and you can get services, whether that's a mental health counselor, whether it's substance abuse counselor, Whether it's an alarm clock, because you can't afford an alarm clock so you're late to school all the time. Whatever it is that your family needs, these community-based centers are going to be there to help you. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to create a standardized intake and assessment tool. Right now, the system we have is pretty disjointed. The services you're going to get in Greenfield, way different than the services you're going to get in Worcester. It's complete, it depends on where you are, who your probation officer is, completely disjointed. So what this is saying that we should do is basically create a standardized tool. You come to us, you say you need help. We're going to go through this thing. We're going to find out exactly what it is you need help with. Is it because your dad is drinking and he's coming home and he's hitting you and so that's why you're running away? Well, then we're going to get help for your dad. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to integrate the school system with the community-based system. So if you're a truant and you're not going to school, you don't just get a CHINS anymore. It's not going to happen. You have to go through a truancy prevention program inside the school so that they can find out exactly why it is you're leaving. Is it because you hate your English teacher? I spent my entire senior year of high school sitting outside the principal's office during that English period because I hated my English teacher and they wouldn't move me out. There has got to be a way that we keep our kids in the schools so that they feel like it's a safe environment. So that's one of the pieces where we're working together with the school system. The other one is it's going to allow parents, and I was going to talk about this, it's going to allow parents to have the knowledge of what it is they're getting into when they go to the courts. So instead of just walking in and saying, I need a CHINS, and not realizing that 90% of the parents that say that will lose custody of their children, parents will have to be explained it in whatever language it is that they speak fluently at home. They will have to be explained exactly what the process is, what their rights are, and what the outcomes will be. If I stay in the court system, what services can I get? And if I go to the community-based system, what services can I get there? Because we're not shutting the court door. Some people do need help in the courts. We're not shutting that door. We are creating a second door for everyone, okay? But we're not going to let you go through the court process unless you understand exactly what it is that's about to happen to you, your family, and most of all, the person that the CHINS is being called on. And last but not least, it will give the kids the services that they need without creating a criminal stigma on them. We're going to try and stop this pipeline that we've got going here between the criminal offender and the status offender system, because CHINS are status offenders, right? They're not supposed to be in the criminal system, only their records are, because it's a unified system. So if you get a CHINS on you when you're 14, it's not supposed to be entered into the criminal system. It is right now. We're stopping that. We're not going to put the stigma on these kids anymore. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to their future. And it's not right as a commonwealth, which is what we are here in Massachusetts. We should all be working together to help our community out and not just saying, well, we're going to put you into this CHINS system so we can get a higher rate on our MCAS scores. That can't happen anymore. It cannot happen. I've been working on this since '05. I swear to the heavens it's going to happen this year, or else I'm going to occupy DeLeo. So we're going to get this going. Let me tell you where it's at right now, where the bill is, and what you can do to help us. So the bill has gone through the Senate, which means everybody in the Senate voted on it, they love it, they passed it. It's now in the House of Representatives. It's in Ways and Means. It's been there since June. They say they're reading it. It's 50 pages. That's it. I swear to you, if you can't read 50 pages from June until now, well, you shouldn't be having your job. So, we need you to call your representative. Ask them to please, please, please contact the chairman of Ways and Means, Rep. Dempsey, and ask him to move it to the floor for a House vote. The bill number is Senate 1963. It was a good year for some. I wasn't around then. I need you to call your representatives and ask them to please get this bill out of House Ways and Means to the House floor for a vote. Once that happens, we can move it through the rest of the process and get it to the governor's desk for him to enact it. The only glitch in this wonderful new law that we've got pending here is that it's going to be 4 years before it's completely rolled out. So if anybody says to you that there's a cost attached to it, yes there is, and we've thought about it and we've implemented it in stages so that it won't be a huge cost and burden on the Commonwealth as soon as it's rolled out. So that's another little, in case anybody says that to you when you call up, we did think about that and we're going to do it over 4 years. Now, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've heard a lot of stories, and I'm sure you all have them. I know, I just was speaking to Cassandra, and her story is quite amazing, and it speaks to all 5 of these points that we're going to change, hopefully, with this new law. So I'm going to turn it over to her so she can tell you her personal piece on it.
Thanks so much. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Cassandra Ben Sahi, and I wanted to share my story about my 14-year-old beautiful daughter who's in school. And I don't know, our family's gone through a few things. I just got my children back. I've turned my life around. I've done a lot of things different. So she was having some problems attending school. I was coming to work every day, and you know, if I didn't get her up on time, then she didn't make it to the bus on time. So sometimes she wouldn't go, but I didn't know that right away. So it came to a point where everybody that was involved in my life, was DCF, was her principal, they kept mentioning to me, we're going to put a CHINS on her. But working in this field, I was always against it. And I kept talking and talking. And finally that power was taken out of my hands when the principal said to me, you've obviously lost control of your daughter, and we're going to put a CHINS on her because it's going to help her. And I knew when they said that it wasn't going to be a help. But I didn't have a choice. So I ended up working with the system, letting them put a CHINS on my daughter. And we talked to her about when she had problems in school to go to like a counselor and talk it over. And she tried that. And somehow, after confiding her deepest secrets to the counselor approached the child that she had a problem with, and her business was all over the school. So she walked out of the school. They called me immediately because, again, I'm an involved parent. I brought her back to school, and I thought that would be that. We talked about it. She was in school. Everything was cool. About the next week, I received a summons for court. First of all, when she met this probation worker, after the CHINS was put on her, the lady assured her that she was not in her life to ruin her life. She was simply there to kind of, you know, be somebody in the background and make sure she was doing the right thing. She would never get a record. This would not become a criminal offense. She'd never have to see a judge. You know, they'd just have to work together. So my daughter took her at her word. So the first time something came up, the letter came in the mail, we were summoned to court. I didn't know what it was for, what she had done. I forgot about the CHINS almost because we were working, we were doing all right. So when we went to court, I found out they had surrendered her name. She was going before the judge because her name had been given up for the CHINS and not attending school that day. So we went before the judge, and the judge said to my daughter, oh, we were all nervous, and my daughter was crying. She said, Mom, am I going to jail? And she's 14, you know. So I said, no, I don't think you're going to jail. You're going to have to do better. So we went to the court, talked with the judge, and I was speaking for my daughter to the fact that she was trying her best. She had actually improved. I mean, if anybody knows teenagers, you know if they're not doing good and all of a sudden they start meeting you halfway, that's good for a teenager, you know? I mean, what do you expect? You know, they try. We can't get it all at one time. No services were offered. Nobody cared why she was going through what she was going through. But the judge did tell her, I'm going to give you 3 months. And in 3 months, if you come before me and there's a problem in school, we'll deal with you then. She got community service, about 20 hours of community service, and she was scared. So, because of the work I do with EPOCA, and because I have a little knowledge about the way this system works, I was able to get her involved in community service and talk with her and sign her up for some services that might help her to get on the right path. Had we had another door, I think my daughter could have really benefited from that. I don't think we'd be waiting right now on pins and needles for what the judge is going to say in March. She's had another incident where she's had to leave the school since then. You know, I just think that our children need these second doors. Our children don't need to have probation officers in jail hanging over their head for non-criminal offenses. You know, it has come to my attention that the CHINS reform is going to be for the good of all of our youth. You know, we have enough adult prisoners from criminals right now. We don't need to fill the prisons or DYS or have children taken from homes of caring parents and put into foster care. We need to work with our children, especially for parents that want to work with their children. Why is the system not working with us? Why is the system not working for us? You know, I think we need to make a lot of noise. I think we need to make people aware of what they're doing to our children. Where we're going wrong needs to be looked at. If there are services out there, we need to be told about them. The first thing that comes up should not be, let's put a CHINS on them and let's just take care of it that way through the court. Probation workers are not equipped to work with them. You know, she was real nice when we first met her. The first time she did something wrong. When I talked to the probation worker, she said to me, I gave her name to the judge because 1 week after she talked to me, she had a problem. So how is that working with her? You know, things come up. We need to deal with it. I call it lazy parenting if you want to pass discipline measures off to somebody else for your own children. Today, I'm available for my children, and I'm willing to work with them, and I'm willing to do what I have to be there for them. So if we all work together, we can get this law passed. Let's make some noise. Let's call some people. Let them know what we need. And that's my story.
I'm dealing with a bright audience here, right? So I forgot to mention that our first piece of the night is going to be about CHINS. I mean, you heard it. It's about CHINS. This reform is very important, you know, and it really touches my heart. I have an 11-year-old son, and we live in Spencer. I live in Spencer. You know, when they put CHINS on some of our youth, it's due to poverty, you know, poverty-stricken families, it's minorities. It's affecting a lot of us. And I definitely don't want to be one of the parents that's caught up in that whole system, because that second door is definitely needed. There's other problems and other ways of dealing with things other than court and jails. You know, this is the beginning. This is the pipeline. So I thank you. Thank you for that presentation. I really, it was very needed. I would like to say a special thank you and greet our counselor, Sarai Rivera. She's from District 4 City Council. And our second piece of the night is going to be on the three strike.